How's everybody out there? Today is basically my number 7th video, and what I'm going to concentrate on today is handling of your actual fly rod itself, knowing how to use it and hold it properly. It's like I say, last night I went on, and I like watching people fishing in Montana and Ohio and Yellowstone and stuff, and seeing these beautiful little brown trouts and big brown trouts that they catch up there and stuff. But these are professionals, and some of them are guides and stuff, and they still don't even stick to the basics when it comes to holding onto a fly rod. And what I mean, just give me 1 second here. This is just a number 4 weight rod. This happens to be a G Loomis, and it's their GL series, and this was one that actually was made in Canada. For a number of years now they've been made in the US, so it's rare. Like I say, you won't be able to buy them anymore, the old Canadian ones basically. And guys like me, I sort of old school guy, and I've had this rod for quite a long time, and because it's such a good rod, that proves that I've had it for such a long time. So I've seen problems with G Loomis with US, and I've never seen a Canadian rod that was built in Canada by G Loomis that ever had any defects or any problems with them. So this is my little baby, my number 4 weight, like I was saying. And I myself, I'm just using a Scientific Angler 4.5L, and it's like I say, it's matched up perfectly for my rod, number 4, and same as your line, number 4 as you go on. One thing I just want to show you with my rod, when you first buy your fly rods and that, they don't usually come with any type of like back tip or anything to protect it. Here you can see you've got the ridges in here for adjusting and tightening your reel. And this part of it, if it's not protected and you're in the creek and it's getting bashed around, it's definitely not good. So having something like this, one of these little popper tops, basically, it's just a big hole, a little piece of neoprene. It's pretty hard too. It's not super soft in any way. And you basically just push that onto the end of your rod and tightens right up against your wheel tighteners, and there you go. And you're not wrecking the bottom of your fishing rod. Now, what I want to get into, like I was saying, is about holding your rod. There are different ways to hold a rod, there's no doubt about it. And of course your classic is just your thumb forward, straight ahead, like so. Now I prefer, especially creek fishing, where accuracy comes into such questionable doubts. There's so much brush and so much around you. Trying to be accurate is hard. So what I do is I take my finger and I put it onto the very edge like so, and hold my rod like this. Now, one thing it does is, like I said, I've said to many people before, that when you're a small child and you're learning, you point to everything, and what you point to is where your eyes go automatically. So when you point somewhere, your eyes just shift that way, because it's just a natural habit right from when you're a child. So having your finger on the end of the rod like this and casting, it gives you definitely preciseness when you're going to drop that down, because wherever your eyes are, your finger is pointing right in that direction. That's just the way it is. So it's something you've learned from when you're a childhood, and that knowledge, or that's been imprinted into your brain, can help you quite a bit. Also, one of the biggest things that has sort of bothered me, in a sense, that I see with these professionals, is the wrist. Now, you don't use your wrist to fly fish. It was never ever meant to be in that type of a way. The idea behind it is that you use your muscle, your arm. So when you're waving your fly rod around, you go back and forth, and my hand stays level. I'm not doing this. Breaking your wrist is, number one, you do that all day long, your wrist hurts like hell. Plus your upper muscle in your arms, if you just hang on to your arm like so and move your wrist, you can feel how your tendons and your muscles are moving in your arm. Now leave it like that, but just move your arm. Now, do you feel anything moving in your arm? Not a thing, because all that power is coming from your shoulder muscles and from your bicep muscle. and that will last hours and hours and hours longer than your wrist will ever work, flicking it around like so. And your basic, going back, the old style, which is just basically, here we are at 12 o'clock, here we are at 10 o'clock, and here we are at 3 o'clock. In keeping it between that, as far as getting your fly up and into the air, your movement isn't that much. It's only like this. You don't have this going on. This is just wasted energy, and also it's not productive in the sense of getting line out. Line comes out smoothly and slowly. You're trying to speed line out like you see these guys zing, 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 and they're just going crazy. And it's they don't actually understand. They're like, say, standing in the middle of the creek, and they're doing this, and they're making all that motion from trout that can see downstream from them watching this. And also while he's doing that, his body is shifting and moving and making sounds in the water and are spooking fish. As simple as that. So like one little technique I'll just show you really quick is how I've taught people before, and something that I made up basically myself quite a few years ago. And basically you're taking a regular ruler, and this usually are 12-inch, and you take the 12-inch ruler and you put it in the palm of your hand, and you take a rubber elastic band and you put that on your hand, and then you run the second one up your arm to the back of it. Now this is straight, absolutely straight, my hand. Now that's the way my hand should be when I'm fly fishing. And once you ingrain this into your brain and get away from using your wrist, you'll actually be more accurate. You won't be as tired, and your arms won't be as sore, number one. And it's just the way it should be done. It's simple as that. So when you take your rod and you can put it into your hand with the rubber band and elastic on it, and you're just going to hold it, like I say, with I like that finger presentation. And if you go to break your wrist, you'll feel that jam into your hand and jam into your finger. So it's telling, okay, I'm using my wrist again. And so once you start doing this and understanding not to move your wrist and use your arm and your muscles, your accuracy and your power, and you won't, like say, number one, you're not going to use as much energy in a sense, because using your wrist is a lot of energy. Your arm muscles and those little tendons and muscles in the upper arm are working so hard, as meanwhile you got these huge muscles in your shoulders and your bicep, and that's how you should cast. And if you want to do like a 30-foot cast, if you're using your wrist, you're going to wrist like a friggin' bear, and you're only going to last so long out there casting 30 feet of line constantly for hours on end. And people wonder why they get people get carpal tunnel syndrome for using the wrist like that. And I see it, like saying, in so many videos, and you'll get the odd guy and you'll see him going, look at that guy, he knows exactly what he's doing, he knows how to do it properly. So that's really about it, And a simple tool like this you can practice with yourself. 2 elastic band and just a ruler, put it up against it, and like I say, if you by mistake do your wrist, you'll feel that thing jam right into your hand, and that little edge of the ruler will jam into your finger, and then you go, okay, I'm breaking my wrist again. The only time that you do really use your wrist is when you drop it. When I drop a fly and I go in and I finish my cast with my arm straight, then I will drop my tip. And my tip, the only way you can really drop it by then is with your wrist, in a sense. So when you've got your arm fully extended and you're done and you want to drop it in nicely, use your wrist to drop it in nicely. But when it comes to casting for all day long, I'm telling you, that technique in itself, just learning that, not moving your wrist, will save you a lot of heartache, headache, and like I say, it definitely gives you accuracy. There's no doubt about it. And it's just something, a small training tool like that, which is just sort of a reminder. But when you get on the creek and you use this technique, and I hope you do, you'll realize what a difference it is. And you'll probably start telling your buddies, hey man, you'll look at your buddies and go, look at him burning himself out with this, doing this all day long with his wrist. Not a good thing. I usually fish for 2-3 hours, when I go out and, walking the creek down to a creek and then coming back up. So you know, that's a long time, a lot of casts, hundreds of casts when you really get down to it. So anyways, I'll leave you with that, and hope that can help you out a bit for you know, people that are new into fly fishing, and also people that have been fishing for, like me, 35 years, but just forget that basic, that yeah, I shouldn't really be using my wrist, but it comes so easy to do. And but the effects, you just don't think about it. It's funny in a sense, but it's just like driving a car and they tell you put, you know, 10 and 2 or whatever. Well, you know, yeah, when you have your hands like that, it's a secure thing, and you know you secure the vehicle. You know, you're doing down here and you got using your thumb to do your driving with, or whatever the case is. Yeah, it's not going to be as good, as accurate, and that's just the way it is. So that technique, I hope you use it, and I hope it's helpful to you. And my next segment, I'm going to talk a little bit about fly lines, and basically, you know, color variations, size variations, whatever the case is. But we'll go from there soon. So thanks for watching, and take care and fish on.